Welcome to this WPTV News Update. I'm Dana Schaefer.
And I'm John Presapio. It's 50 degrees outside right now. We'll have a complete forecast later in the program. But we begin with our top local story. Dana?
Thanks, John. It's a sad day for a Carlstadt family. A 76-year-old widow died in an Easter morning fire. It's not clear how the fire started or how the woman died. She's survived by her two sons.
For the people of Washington Township, the sight of skydivers floating through the air is not unusual. But members of one local family noticed something go very wrong this Easter. During their annual Easter egg hunt yesterday, they witnessed a man fall to his death onto a nearby lawn. The man was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital.
It took him 7 days and he had to put up with some dicey weather, but a man from Franklin Lakes made it to the Boston Marathon starting line after running 235 miles. The bombings kept him from finishing the marathon last year, but he says he's determined to complete the race this time around. He made his East Coast trek to support several charities.
There are many people traveling to New Jersey for what is being called online poker tourism. Online poker is generating $2 million a month in tax revenue for the state budget. But you must be within state lines to play in New Jersey. That's why it is attracting tourism to the state.
Coming up, we'll take a look at some national and international news.
Don't touch that remote.
Welcome back to this WPTV News Update. I'm Dana Schaefer.
And I'm John Presapio. Time now for our top national story. Dana?
Thank you. In Boston, thousands of runners have returned to the spot where just over a year ago, tragedy struck. They're running the Boston Marathon, the target of the devastating bombing last April. Polo Sandoval has joined us from Boston with this story.
A time to heal and a time to run. That's the feeling from the thousands running this year's Boston Marathon. Last year, 3 people were killed and more than 200 wounded when a pair of bombs exploded near the finish line. Jennifer Ray, among the 36,000 runners lacing up today. She calls it inspiring.
Just seeing goodness in people, whether it was the first responders or the medical workers or people that donated food or money.
Security already tight along those 26.2 miles. Organizers have a long list of prohibited items for both runners and spectators. During the last year and in tributes to the victims, the city has shown what it means to be Boston strong.
It symbolizes our communal determination to spread compassion, generosity, unity, and pride.
This couple, the groom, a bombing survivor, tied the knot at Boston's iconic Fenway Park. Senator Elizabeth Warren spoke at a memorial for the MIT police officer killed during the hunt for the suspects.
Our common tragedies and sufferings unite us as one people, and that unity brings with it strength and courage, and ultimately renews our commitment to liberty.
Some harsh words from the president of South Korea are directed at the crew of a now sunken ferry. The Coast Guard says at least 64 bodies have been found, with more than 200 people still missing. Andrew Spencer reports the death toll is likely to continue to rise.
South Korean President Park Geun-hye didn't hold back today.
선장과 일부 승무원들의 행위는
The actions of the captain and some of the crew members are absolutely unacceptable, unforgivable actions that are akin to murder.
Recordings of radio traffic while the ship was sinking emerged on Sunday, suggesting passengers couldn't reach lifeboats because the ship tilted too quickly. In the recording, an unidentified crew member says it is listed more than 50 degrees to the port side, and people are not able to move from left to right. The captain has been charged with negligence, causing bodily injury, and abandoning his boat. Other crew members have been charged as well. The divers hold out some hope as they search for survivors in the now submerged ship.
Finding survivors is the strong desire of the whole nation. We cry every day and search for the missing people. I cry whenever I think about it.
But since the initial rescues on Wednesday, the search has only turned up bodies. Dozens of them recovered and marched slowly up the beach in Jindo. Taken to tents to be identified by family members, even police struggle to hear the sounds that follow. How are we going to live now, this woman asks, as families gather together in their grief, many still waiting for a sign from their missing loved ones. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Britain's Prince William and his wife, the Duchess of Cambridge, attended Easter services today in Sydney, Australia. And then they did something many families around the world enjoy doing. They took their son to the zoo. And in a CNN's royal correspondent, Max Foster reports, young Prince George had an up-close encounter with a furry, long-eared namesake.
Proud parents taking their boy on a trip to the zoo. And an encounter with a bilby. George, meet George. Not a coincidence, of course, and the reason this wasn't any old trip to the zoo. This bilby was named after this heir to the throne, as was the enclosure. George seemed thrilled to receive a keepsake of his trip, a toy bilby. Then again, maybe not. This, his second official engagement, lasted less than half an hour before he was whisked away to nanny. Then his parents carried on, past the tree kangaroos and some non-indigenous species. Then into an amphitheatre with a view, where they were treated to an animal show.
This is what enables her to catch her last piece and nibble.
The message here was conservation, and is one that's close to the Duke's heart, and the couple seemed to love it. Well, there you have it, the royals stroking a koala bear with the harbour, Sydney Harbour in the background, an extraordinary scene and another iconic, historic royal moment. And pictures that will also play into Australia's visual history, one that's still inextricably linked to a monarchy based on the other side of the planet. Max Foster, CNN, Sydney.
A New Jersey man considers his German Shepherd a member of his family, and maybe even a member of the community. But he wasn't prepared to send her off for a jury duty when a summons arrived. Todd Quiones reports the jury pool in Cumberland County will have to do without this four-legged citizen.
Ivy certainly is no fan of our camera and is likely even less of a fan of jury duty, but at first glance of this jury summons, it appears Ivy Greiner is due in court. Her name on her vet record appears the same as it does on the summons. Her owner, Barrett Greiner, received the summons on Friday.
But nobody in my house is named Ivy, except the German Shepherd.
When Barrett first got the summons, he pretty much figured it out right away. You see, his full name is Barrett Greiner IV. He uses the Roman numeral for 4, and so that's also why he named his dog Ivy, as in using the letters I and V.
So, it turns out the Cumberland County Judiciary Coordinator indicates the computer-generated jury summons likely misplaced the Roman numeral 4 for Barrett's first name and then mailed it out.
I had to laugh at it.
So while the 5-year-old German Shepherd won't be sitting in the jury box anytime soon, at least Barrett has a tale to tell and the records to sort of back it up.
And finally, a look at the weather. It looks like spring is making a comeback. Right now it's 51 degrees outside with a high, and that will be 66, with a low of 45 degrees. Tomorrow will be raining with a high of 74 and a low of 47. On Wednesday, it will be partly cloudy with a high of 58 and a low of 39. On Thursday, it will be sunny with a high of 64 degrees and a low of 41 degrees. On Friday, there is a small chance of rain with a high of 64 degrees and a low of 47 degrees. And that's your weather.
And that's it for this WPTV News Update. I'm John Presapio.
And I'm Dana Schaefer. Thanks for watching.